Not sure about how to get approved for business credit cards because you don't have a business? In this video, I will show you the #1 way to get business credit cards just with your social security number. I've got multiple business credit cards and it boils down to this exact method. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how to get approved for business credit cards and unlock a new world of credit. So in this video, I'll cover why you should get business credit cards, what you need to know before applying, the actual steps to apply for business credit cards, and some commonly asked questions. So first, let's cover why you should even consider getting business credit cards. Let's just say that you have the Chase Freedom Flex. You currently have a credit limit of $5,000 and you put on a balance of $2,500 on it. Once this information hits the credit bureaus, it will show that you have a 50% credit utilization on that specific card. Now, let's just say that you have the Chase Ink Business Cash with the same credit limit of $5,000 and you put on a $2,500 balance on that card. Once the statement period is over, it will seem like you have a 50% utilization on that credit card, which is true, but the information will not get reported to the credit bureaus. You see, with personal credit cards, they reflect with your personal credit profile and score. With business credit cards, they normally do not. Most of them do not report information to the credit bureaus unless there is some type of derogatory information. So if there's no derogatory information, then it will not get reported to the credit bureaus. You can even max out your business credit cards and this will not affect your personal credit utilization. The key reason to get business credit cards is to keep your business and personal finances separate while protecting your personal credit score. If you have a business that requires a lot of upfront capital, you may not get paid until the job is done. If you were to keep those expenses on a personal card, this would wreck your credit because of high utilization being reported. This would lower your personal credit score and make it more difficult for you to apply for more lines of credit or lending whenever you need it. Another perfect example was when I was trying to buy investment properties. When I wanted to do a cash out refinance, the mortgage underwriters were very strict and picky about every type of debt that was on my personal credit report. Since my business credit cards and business debt did not reflect my personal credit profile, they were not counted towards the debt to income ratio. Separating business and personal expenses is a major reason on why business credit cards make so much sense. Now, that's just one key factor of why I like business credit cards, but here's another. The benefits and perks of business credit cards can be much better depending on what your goals are. One of the key reasons of why people get business credit cards is that many of them offer 0% APR for a certain period of time. This period can be anywhere between 12 to 18 months and sometimes even more. You may see ads all over the place talking about credit stacking or 0% business funding. Essentially, what these companies are doing is that they're applying for business credit cards in a specific sequence to maximize your credit limits that you can get at 0%. This is extremely powerful if you need short-term loans. Imagine getting anywhere between $50,000 to $250,000 at 0% for 12 months or more. Of course, you still need to have a game plan of what to do once you get this capital and how you're going to pay it back, because you will eventually have to pay it back. Being able to get 0% business credit cards helped me a lot when I was renovating some of my real estate investments. I was able to pay my contractors using business credit cards, and when the house was ready and I was able to refinance, I would pull that money out and pay off the credit cards. The intro offer of 0% is not the only good benefit of these cards. Generally, you can get some pretty great sign-up bonuses or sign-up offers. For instance, the Chase Business Inc. credit cards currently offer $750 after you spend $6,000 within the first 3 to 6 billing cycles. Always double check the company's website to see if these offers are still current, since they do change from time to time. This is kind of unheard of on the personal side, especially for a card that has no annual fee. Of course, the spending requirements are a bit higher, but this can be a powerful setup if you team this with your personal cards and you optimize your points and miles. The next reason of why you should get business credit cards is that they generally offer higher credit limits compared to personal credit cards. It is not unheard of to get business credit cards that start off with $25,000 of a credit limit or even much higher. I have seen business credit cards that are close to $100,000 just on one card. Of course, this depends on the individual and the business, but even if you're just starting your business credit card journey, it's not unusual to get higher credit limits compared to your personal credit cards. If you were to think about it, businesses tend to have way more expenses than personal accounts. Businesses have expenses for software, inventory, advertising, payroll, and plenty of other things that cost money to run a business. As individuals, yes, we have some big expenses like cars and housing, but typically, you can't pay those with a credit card, with a few exceptions. Aside from those, we generally just use credit cards for dining out, gas, or other shopping habits. Typically, that type of spending cannot match business spending, and credit cards issuers and lenders understand this. Since these type of cards offer higher credit limits, there's really no negative impact to your personal credit, since they're not generally reported to the credit bureaus. Instead of messing up your personal credit utilization, having available business credit cards help manage your finances better. So hopefully those 3 reasons have made you want to get business credit cards even more. But before we actually apply for them, here are a few things that you need to know. Most of the best business credit cards out there will require a personal guarantee. There are some that may do a soft inquiry on your personal credit when you apply, but these are rare. Some examples are the GM Business MasterCard and a Capital on Tap credit card. Other cards that will fall into this category will generally take a look at your business as a whole, including your banking transactions, liquidity, and documentation. A lot of major issuers that require a personal guarantee really ask for more documentation or proof of income. Now, what a personal guarantee means is that in the case of anything happens to your business credit card, or if you default, you're personally responsible for it. For instance, let's say that you stop paying for your business credit card and it becomes late. This will allow the issuer to report this information to your personal credit profile, which will harm your credit score. This is something you definitely want to avoid. So to add to this, since most of the best business credit cards are personally guaranteed, you need to have good to excellent credit. So here's the ideal credit profile that you should mirror before you apply for business credit cards to better your odds of getting higher credit limits. First off, you should have a credit score of at least 680 or above. 720 or above is preferred though. Next, you want to have less than 4 hard inquiries per credit bureau in the last 4 months. The reason being is that hard inquiries have the most impact within the first 12 months. The more recent they are, the more they affect your credit score. Next, you should have no negative accounts that are less than 4 years old. Your credit score should already reflect this, but typically after the 4-year mark, negative accounts or delinquencies have less of an impact compared to when they were new. This means that if you had any collections, charge-offs, late payments, bankruptcies, you get the gist. I know if this is you, I do have a DIY software that helps you dispute any derogatories or delinquencies from your account. The software is extremely easy to use, is AI powered. All you gotta do is just link a 3-bureau credit report and it will generate the letters for you. All you would have to do is just send them out and wait for results. The link is in the description if you wanna get started. Next, you wanna have at least a few personal credit accounts. Generally, it is recommended to have between 3 to 5. These can be credit cards, personal loans, student loans, auto loans, mortgages, essentially any type of account or trade line that is already reported to your credit profile. So if you are new to credit, then business credit cards might not be for you quite yet. I recommend having a personal credit profile at least of 2 years to strengthen your odds, and have at least one credit card with at least of a $5,000 credit limit. If you don't have this one yet, then check out this video over here to how to increase it. Now, this is not required, but I definitely recommend getting an EIN number. This is essentially a social security number, but for your business. Even if you don't have a legal entity like an LLC or a corporation or even a partnership, you can still get an EIN under your own name. The reason why I recommend getting EIN is that you can get a business credit card based on just your social security number and also your EIN number. This means that you can get 2 of the same credit cards and also get offered that welcome bonus twice in a shorter period of time rather than waiting the standard 2 years or whatever the terms and conditions say. This is what I've done multiple times with the Chase Business Inc. credit card. Since I've had multiple businesses, I was able to get multiples of the same Chase Business credit card. So let's quickly go over how to get EIN. If you already have one, then you can just skip this part. So if you were to Google IRS EIN, this should be the first link that pops up, and it will show you exactly how to apply for an EIN. So if you scroll down a little bit, it just says apply online, and you just click on the link right here, Internet EIN application. It is very possible whenever you Google this, it may show you this window, but either way, it's the same process. The weird thing about EINs is that you can only apply for them Monday to Friday, 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's kind of odd for me that there's actually a time like of operation to apply a EIN, even though it's all online. But either way, all you would have to do is just go to apply online now. Then from there, it will give you a little pop-up. You could close that out. You could read this out. It just basically tells you how to apply for an EIN. You just begin application. It's pretty straightforward. So for majority of people watching this, you're just going to be applying as a sole proprietor, because essentially your social security number can just be a sole proprietor, because sole proprietors and social security numbers are labeled as an individual in the IRS's eyes. So let's click sole proprietor, continue, click sole prop. I would do that. You just read a little blurb here, confirm your selection, continue. Now this is why is the sole prop requesting for an EIN. I would just click start a new business. That's essentially what you're doing, right? Continue. Then from there, this is where you would have to put in your personal information, like your name, your last name. You are the sole prop most likely, all right? So it allows me to click. Then the next is your address. So basically you could put your home address as your business address. That's perfectly fine. The next it will ask you like details, which kind of pertains more to your businesses, like if you gamble, trucking and stuff like that. If you are a babysitter or whatever, just kind of put something that relates to what you are doing for a business or trying to earn income. They just try to do this to filter out anything that could be like high risk or another reason for them not to give you an EIN number. So just go through the process. It's pretty straightforward, and that's pretty much how you get an EIN number. Now, once you got an EIN number, or if you decide not to get one, let's go over the actual steps of applying. In this example, we're going to be applying for one of the Chase Inc. business credit cards, since I do believe they definitely have one of the best ones in the business credit card space. So once you hit apply, this should look something like this on your screen. And it will tell you like all the bonuses, things like that. So let's scroll down to personal info. Now, the personal info section is pretty much how you would fill in a regular traditional credit card, right? So really nothing changes there. Tax ID type, here, just put in your social or your ITIN, either one, all right? Regardless if you have an EIN or not, you would still have to plug in your social security number, right? Now, you just plug in your personal address down there, your email address, your phone number, state, all that good stuff. Total gross income. So this is what you earn or reasonably expect to earn in a year. If you're 21 or older and regularly use income from others to pay for your bills, you can include them as well. All right. So meaning that if you are a spouse that has no earned income, you can actually use your other spouse's income to qualify for a business credit card, right? So you can put whatever number that you want there that applies to your situation, okay? Now let's go down to business info. This is where it gets a little bit more granular and what people need to pay attention to. So choose your business structure. For majority of people, it's just going to be your sole proprietorship, all right? Because if you're just using your social security number and you haven't set up like a legal entity or anything like that, I would definitely just pick sole prop. But if you already have a business and you're established, to pick whatever applies. But let's just pick sole prop, okay? Legal business name, all right? Now, you can just use your first and last name. That is your business, your first and last name, okay? Now, if you've done like a DBA or something like that, if you register with your county saying like Sally's babysitting or something like that, then you could definitely do that if you registered. If not, it just could be Sally Smith, okay? That's why it asks if you use another name, like a trade name or a DBA, okay? Now, the tax ID type. Now, if you applied for an EIN earlier, this is where you could plug it in, okay? If not, you could definitely just put in your social security number and it could definitely work for this application as well. But remember, keep in mind that you can definitely apply for this credit card based on your social security number and also based on the EIN, okay? So if you don't have an EIN, just plug in your social and that's fine. Now you just have to select whether or not you have a business address. But if it's just your home, that's perfectly fine too, okay? Now here are your number of employees. Most of the people is just gonna be themselves, okay? So if you're the only employee, you just put 0. Sometimes some applications may ask you to put 1. So just read the little fine print at the bottom to see what they require, okay? Business phone number, that could be your personal cell phone number. That's perfectly fine. Now the business established date. Now, you can put down any date that you had the intent of earning money, right? So even if you haven't earned money yet, so let's say right now it's May or June or whatever it is, but you were trying to set this whole thing up in January of 2024, you could definitely put January 2024, okay? Now, when it comes to annual business revenue, this is where you can put projected income as well, all right? I think people mess up sometimes. Like if you put 0, you can put 0 and they can still approve you, all right? But if you're starting something new, you could put any number that you can think that you can reasonably make. All right. So if you're planning to make like $25,000 this year, even $10,000 this year, just put that down. Okay. Now let's go down to business category. I think what most people do, let's say you're a babysitter, right? I would usually pick healthcare and social services, right? Now let's see what else. Home healthcare services. Maybe you might have to put other, just so it's something else. Individual and family services. Other individual and family services. This is probably what I'll pick if you're like a babysitter. But if you are like a business consultant, it can definitely fall into a different category. And this will just give you a NAICS code. Basically, that's how like they label you as a business. Now, this is where you have to put in your monthly spend. So it makes sense to put something that's reasonable. Say that you expect to make, say, $20,000 this year, okay? But if you're expecting to spend $5,000 a month, that may be kind of a little bit of a stretch. So if you were to put like anywhere between $1,000, $1,500, that could be more reasonable. Even $2,000, that could be okay, you know? So I would go ahead and do that. Now it will ask you if you want any employee cards. You could just say no and go paperless, yes or no, whatever you want. Then there's like the pricing and terms. Then there's more certifications that you can read over. Then from there, you just hit this checkbox, hit submit. Then you submitted your first business credit card application. So, whatever your goals are with business credit cards, whether it is bonuses or the enjoy 0% APR, this will determine which credit cards that you should apply for. Now, here are a couple of my favorites. I really like the Chase Ink Business Unlimited or the Cash credit card. Both of these have zero annual fee and they usually have pretty nice sign-up offers. Same goes for the American Express Blue Business Cash or Plus cards. Now, the welcome offers are generally not all that high with these cards, but you do get a nice intro APR. So here are some commonly asked questions. Now, what happens if you don't get instantly approved or you receive a notification saying that they'll let you know the decision within the next 7 to 10 business days? Usually, this goes one of two ways. The first reason is that you got denied and you may receive an adverse action letter in the mail or through a secure message which states why you got denied. This will give you a complete blueprint on what you can do to fix it for future applications. Next, they may need to move your application to a manual underwriter who will review your application and determine whether or not you get approved. Sometimes you may need some extra documentation or clarification about your application before you can move forward. So I would definitely wait until you receive the letter stating whether or not you get denied for sure. Now, if you don't get approved, you can always call the reconsideration line if the issuer has one. But before you call and ask for a reconsideration, make sure that you have all your ducks in a row and whatever you put down on your application is accurate. So they will probe you with questions about why you are getting a business credit card and what your intended use is. So just make sure that you know the answers to those questions. Just don't say that you want the welcome bonus, even if it is true. An easy answer to their questions is usually to say that you want to keep your business and personal finances separate. If you have any other questions about business credit cards, let me know in the comments and I try to get to as many as I possibly can. I do have a private community called the Credit Collective. If you want more hands-on help with credit or business credit, link will be down in the description. Now, I know that this video was about how to get business credit cards, but if you're serious about learning more about business credit and how to optimize it, make sure you check out these videos over here where you can get higher credit limits and how to leverage it.